Let's call to order the zoning meeting, Board of Zoning Appeals for November the 12th. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Quick explanation of tonight's order. We will be hearing an appeal tonight of 3 different cases. What we'll do is we'll open the case up. The staff will give a presentation. After the presentation is made, we will have a public, actually the applicant will speak, and then we'll have the public portion speak for or against the application. At that point, we'll close the public portion, and the board will then have an option to ask any questions that is spoke before the board or the staff, and then we'll make a vote on whether the appeal will be approved or denied. After that, we have unfinished business, and see none. We have approval of minutes, and then an announcement for our next meeting. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bartolt.
Here.
Ms. Owens. Mr. Shupp.
Here.
Mr. Sido. Mr. Roberto.
Present. I notice that we're missing 2 from our board this evening. I see both of our alternates are present. If we'll seat our alternates, please. I've been shown that our alternates are both seated. At this point, anyone plan on speaking? Have you signed in our sign-in sheet if you plan on speaking this evening? If not, make sure we get it done. You're all going to stand right now. We're going to swear you in. So if you'll stand and raise your right hand. If you plan on speaking tonight, please stand and raise your right hand. You swear or you affirm you tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth before the Board of Zoning Appeals? Say, I do. I do. Thank you. You may be seated. It brings us to our first case this evening would be BZA 25-35. This is an applicant requesting a conditional use approval to allow a cannabis dispensary to operate in the Avenue Mix Central Zoning District of Colerain Township, located at the property address of 9385 Colerain Avenue. Does the staff have a presentation?
I do.
Thank you.
And this is just a disclaimer up front. This is the Board of Zoning Appeals, which is a quasi-judicial board. When people would like to file an appeal to the zoning administrator decision, a variance or conditional use request, we have no choice but to accept that request. This is not initiated by the trustees, it's initiated by an applicant. BZA 25-35 is a case at 9385 Colerain Avenue. This is a conditional use request. The parcel number and zoning district are listed on the screen. The applicant is FW Green Investments, and the property owner is White Oak Properties No. 2 LLC. The case details: the site has a long-standing commercial use consistent with Colerain Avenue corridor. It was originally a Dunkin' Donuts, and it's been a payday loan store for several years. The existing building and site configuration are suitable for continued commercial or servants-oriented use. The property lies within the AMC, Avenue Mix Central Zoning District, which supports a broad mix of retail and service uses. The AMC district conditionally permits marijuana dispensaries requiring BZA approval and review for appropriateness and compatibility. The Board of Trustees initiated a zoning text amendment to allow this and regulate the sale of this in our township. This case represents the first application to be reviewed by the Board of Zoning Appeals under the newly adopted framework. And for the record, a development agreement was entered into with this applicant on November 11th, 2025, which is yesterday. They still do need conditional use approval. So if you look at the map on the screen, the star indicates where the site is. We have Northgate Mall just to the north. Across the street, we have Commons Circle, which is a residential circle with many condo units. Behind, we have single-family homes. This is a more close-up view, and here's one without the star over it, so the board can look at parking, site layout, to decide on the appropriateness of this site for this use. And here's some imagery from Google Street View. This is the current tenant, CheckSmart, and their pole sign. You can see the windows and the facade and the parking, the entrance and exit to the site. So the site flow. And there's currently an opening between this Checksmart parcel and the parcel to the south. This is just another view that shows kind of the site layout. This is important to know the site layout when deciding whether or not this use is appropriate for this site. The zoning issue at hand is that the comprehensive use permission table cannabis dispensary is conditionally allowed and must seek approval from the Board of Zoning Appeals regardless of the development agreement. Staff findings: it's staff's opinion that the use is a conditional use in the district where the lot is located. That's straightforward. It's staff's opinion the use is in accordance with the objectives of Colerain Township's comprehensive plan and zoning resolution, simply because a development agreement was entered into with the trustees. It's staff's opinion that conditional use will not substantially and or permanently injure the appropriate use of neighboring properties, and that is because it's already a commercial corridor. It's staff's opinion that the use will not create excessive requirements at public cost for public facilities and services and will not be detrimental to the economic welfare of the community. I know there's many different opinions on that, and so staff recommendation is conditional approval. So if the board is to approve this conditional use request, these are the conditions I would recommend. Number 1, the existing pole sign located at the property be completely removed, including all sign faces, cabinet, supporting structure, and foundation prior to the commencement of the approved use. It is already a condition, as we will see, of this use, that all non-conforming signage is removed from the site. This is just to ensure that everybody's on the same page about that large pole sign right along Colerain Avenue. The existing cross-access connection between the subject property and the adjacent business to the south shall remain open and unobstructed to allow for shared vehicular circulation and improved access management along Colerain Avenue. Any proposed modification to that connection shall require prior review and approval by the township. In order to keep cars who are passing between lots off Colerain Avenue, it's important to keep access points open. Number 3, a landscape buffer, of which there is not one right now, shall be maintained along Colerain Avenue frontage between the parking area and the public right-of-way. This buffer shall include a continuous row of evergreen shrubs at least 36 inches in height at installation, planted 3 feet on center, supplemented by ornamental or canopy trees spaced no more than 30 feet apart. The buffer shall be designed to provide year-round visual screening of the parking area from the public right-of-way and shall include curbing or edging to define and protect planted areas. Typically, it's a 15-foot buffer. If we required a 15-foot buffer on this site, as you can see on the screen, we would take away the vast majority of all the parking. So while it will not be a 15-foot buffer, it will be a buffer nonetheless where one does not currently exist. The next condition, a continuous pedestrian walkway shall be provided from the primary entrance of the building to the public sidewalk along Colerain Avenue, incorporating a clearly marked crosswalk through the parking lot. The walkways and crosswalks shall be constructed of contrasting pavement or striping to ensure visibility, accessibility, and pedestrian safety throughout the site. It's very important if anyone's going to be walking to this site to ensure that they're safe and not walking through parking lots. And number 5, no signage, imagery, or advertising associated with the approved conditional use shall be placed on any off-site signage within 200 feet of the subject property. If you turn one last time to the screen, you can see that billboard on the right side. I did not want that to become their new giant pole sign with an arrow pointing down. So they will not be allowed to advertise on that sign. Mr. Roberto has requested that I read the regulations that we have for cannabis dispensaries that were passed earlier this year. And I'll read some highlights. It can be medical or non-medical between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. There's only one allowed per 25,000 residents in Colerain Township. There's misinformation going around that we are allowing 3. We currently have 58,000 residents or so. We will only be allowing up to 2. The population base determines that, so once we hit 75,000 people, if and when that happens, then we would consider allowing a 3rd. A development agreement is required. That was obtained between this applicant and the township yesterday. A buffer is required. You can't be 750 feet from a school, church, public library, public playground, or public park. That's why the one that was supposed to be at the carpet store down south did not work. It was too close. And there shall be a minimum distance of 750 feet between the 2 dispensaries if either one were to open. They're not allowed any temporary signage, no window signs, no rope lights in the window, no flashing lights, no portable signs, none of that ever. No outdoor displays or storage. And then they have to put a new facade on the building that complies with our zoning resolution. They have to make sure the parking lot complies with our zoning resolution, and they have to remove all non-conforming signage on the site, which I referenced earlier about that big pole sign that's on the site. So we have a conditional approval on the table. Mr. Roberto.
Thank you. Can you go back to the front image?
An image of the site?
Yeah. Yeah.
That one here?
That one there.
Okay.
Wasn't sure if they were not part of the participants in the pole signs, correct? The light poles.
They're not a what? Sorry.
They were not a participant in the light poles we have going down Colerain Avenue.
Not that I'm seeing. That could be a condition.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Is the applicant present? Want to come and give your presentation, please? And state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, my name is Stephen Esky. I'm the managing partner of FW Green Investments. My address is 5093 Rival Road. I don't have a formal presentation. I was just going to talk a little bit about our company and our plans for this site, and happy to answer any questions the board may have. The name of our company, holding company, is KCG Holdco, and our two brands that we operate are King City Gardens, which is our product brand, and our retail brand for dispensaries is The Garden. We currently have 2 operating stores operational here in Ohio, with 2 more hopefully opening up in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Of those 4 stores that we'll have open, 2 of them are in Greater Cincinnati. The store that is in Greater Cincinnati is down in Kemp, Washington, on Colerain Avenue down there. It's been open for about 6 weeks. It's a former bank building. We've invested a significant amount of money in that store. It's doing very well, and I encourage anybody that would be curious what the future of this potential location looks like, can view that store on Google Maps or our website. Our intent is obviously to comply with all the conditional uses implied here by the township, and we're planning to invest upwards of $1 million to $1.5 million in the development of this particular store, both interior and exterior improvements. So a lot of the guidelines that have been laid down by the township are extensive, but still not even as extensive as what the state requires us in terms of our advertising and our security and our setbacks. We aren't allowed to advertise by law, outside of just pole sign. So our intent really is just to have the monument sign that complies with the zoning and a sign on the building. The security will be extremely enhanced, which is required per the state. There really wouldn't be a square inch within the building, and from the exterior that isn't under camera 24/7. The state requires us to maintain that footage. 45 days, they have access to it, as will local law enforcement. Our intent, or our projected employees here, anywhere from 9 to 13, depending on volume. We are intending to work with adjacent property to get a parking easement for our employees, just to make sure we have an overabundance of parking and not create any congestion here, which is not only important for our customers, but just for the overall traffic of the site. So those are our general plans here.
Thank you. Anyone else speaking for or against this appeal? I see 2 other people that have signed up. Edward Mitchell, you plan on speaking this evening? Yes. Would you please come to the podium and give us your name and address for the record?
My name is Edward Mitchell, 3524 Ripple Grove Drive, 45251.
Yes, sir.
I'm speaking conditionally against the dispensary because I've been a resident in the area. My home is within 300 feet on the back side. If they could bring up the zoning map, I would appreciate it. I'd be able to take a look to see. If you could zoom in there a little bit, if you see the star and the circle there at the cul-de-sac. My home would be the 4th one from the right on the top, one next to it, right there. So I could throw a stone from my porch to the dispensary. So as you can see, security and such is going to be certainly a problem. The size of that building for what's going to be $500 to $1 million a sale a year on a street that already has 36,000 cars a day driving past there. That is a place where there's been fatalities right there at that intersection, and they need to do more than what it is they're talking about, which I certainly would believe is what their intentions are. For a multi-million-dollar operation, they have like $36 million invested in a grow operation in Forest Park, which isn't but miles away from Colerain Avenue. So what their intention likely is to expand. And of course, when they expand, there's only one place to go. That's back into the residential area, whether it's for their employees parking or, that place doesn't even have 2,000 square feet inside of the building. So it's just way too small for the usage that they're calling for. So when they go to expand, if you could bring up the actual zoning map that shows what the zoning is, a colored map that'll show the difference in the zoning.
I don't have a colored map, but I can bring up what would show the parcel zones. Sorry.
The Ripple Grove Drive has a very unusual zoning map. That's why I'm interested to show the board. During the time of the mall expanding, there was a great deal of opposition. And of course, since then, the mall has failed. And that simply exposed everyone in that area to a lot of noise and pollution because of all the traffic. We used to have a green space buffer behind our homes, which was taken away when the mall expanded. And of course, now with the demolition of the Sears building, yeah, that's not quite the one that I see.
So we updated our zoning in October of last year. So you may be referring to the old zoning map, but every single house up Ripple Grove is single unit residential.
Okay, let's see if we can zoom in closer on that cul-de-sac.
The entire cul-de-sac, the yellow there, is
Yeah,
single
so
unit
the
residential.
zoning map that I saw, that last house that's on the end of the cul-de-sac, that has the same zoning as the business that they want to put the dispensary on.
No, that's not correct. It's single unit residential. The dispensary business is Avenue Mix South, which is business zoning.
They most recently changed the ordinance in what, October?
October 2024.
Yeah, so your map may be an older map that you're referencing.
Well, it was the one I looked at on the township's
So
website.
we need to make sure that is an accurate. Okay, thank you.
So basically, if you can see that yellow area to the right there, that basically has an unusual residential business zoning, or it had, as far as I can see. And that area was done because that was to be an enterprise zone. Francis Barrett, which was the mall's attorney, promoted the fact that without a doubt this area would be developed. And hey, that's progress. I'm sure that can happen, and it will happen. But I've been there for over 35 years and dealt with, now I have dump trucks going by the back of my house. I have emergency vehicles. As far as my peaceful enjoyment of my home, it's certainly been degraded over the 35 years. My street now, where it used to be all owner-occupied homes, are now mostly rental properties, investment properties, which brings me to the owner of the property, which is the dispensary's property and the property next to it, a guy named Ken Carl. He owns White Oak Properties, LLC. He owns 4 of the residential properties right adjacent to the cannabis location. And so he is actually in a beneficial position since he actually owns both the cannabis lot and the lots directly behind it. Within that zone, there's 5 homes left that are still owner-occupied. The others are all owned by Ken Carl, White Oak Properties, LLC. So, back to the promises that were made over the years, it seems that a multi-million-dollar corporation that's coming into our area for the first time on a resolution that hasn't been passed, I don't think, for 6 months. This seems to be a very rapid process. From what I see, there was little available on the township's website about it. I'm concerned, too, that I think that myself had less than 10 days notice of this meeting. And I don't know what the law is exactly, but I'm sure there's probably some notification requirement. And I would hope you would look into making sure that the notification requirements were properly enforced and carried out. But in any case, I would have to strongly object to it unless the township and the developer get together and try to use some of their development powers, which would be to say this little peninsula there should be developed into a retail development. And with the multi-millions of dollars that this development is going to bring in, they should go back to the promises that were made. And they should come in and somehow come up with a plan to develop what's left of that enterprise zone at the end of that residential street so that we don't have to continue to deal with the pollution and noise that comes along with expansion. We've owned our homes, we've lived there, we've paid our taxes. This is somebody new. This is a new thing. This is drugs coming into Colerain Township. The township really needs to think very long, very hard about how it is they're going to move forward with this, and I suggest that they do something to meet the objective to put in taxes and financing or whatever other kind of policies they can put in to improve that area and maybe go ahead and push it forward into a retail or a commercial area so that we can sell our properties at a reasonable price and move on someplace where we can enjoy our homes. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Let's see, I'm going to mess this first. Is it Javis? Jessup? Janice? I'm sorry, Janice?
Hi, I'm Janice Jessup.
Yes, ma'am. Name and address, or you got the name, just address, please.
3527 Amber Way Court, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Thank you, ma'am. If you want to pull that microphone down just a little bit, thank you very much.
Is that better?
Perfect.
Okay. I'm in the first row of condos with the wall, the brick wall. And that dispensary is supposed to be being built there's 3 sections to the Villages of North Gate. Come out on Mall Road, Gate Mall. I agree with the gentleman here. It's too small of an area. I just learned listening that the Big Bob's flooring, something went awry down there. That place sat far enough back that, you know, it wasn't going to interfere with more congestion right there on Colerain Avenue. And that is a pretty congested area there.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any children of my own, but that are at home, but that it just doesn't seem like it's the proper place to be putting. And the gentleman's there on Ripple Grove. It's populated, and I'm sure there's lots of children and teens. Colerain High School is just down on Cheviot. They can walk there in a quick minute, or they're coming off buses. I think it's too close.
Okay.
And at first I was thinking, why are we putting them in less than like probably a 2-mile radius from each other? But I understand now that the Big Bobs whatever the reason was.
It was
That
with,
would have
it
been
was
much
with
more
it was with the
reasonable.
750 feet of something that prohibited from being there is what it was.
Okay, so there's no daycare close to this?
The nearest one is 1,000 feet away.
1,000 feet away. There's a daycare 1,000 feet away.
The one's over on the other end of the Circle Drive.
Okay, so, and that's not a problem.
It's outside of the 750, yes, ma'am.
It's outside the 750. I just don't feel comfortable about it. Going through a lot of changes with the mall being repurposed now in this new day and age, but that's all I wanted to say. They, well, and then there's a little shop that, just a little brick building right at the corner, right across from the drive going into the mall, where Burger King's on the right, if you're driving in, and this little building's there with 2 doors. And, you know, I don't know what goes on there, but there's never anybody in parking. There might be 1 or 2 cars, and then they're not.
I believe that's Mimi's Nails and it's Smoke King or something like that.
Mimi's Nails. And I just don't understand. You see women going in and out all the time. I think there's. I don't know what the township.
We can't surmise that because we don't have any evidence to that effect,
But
but
I get to see the parking lot all the time.
yes, ma'am.
Because I pull out in the morning at 5 a.m. and sometimes there'll be a car in the parking lot with its lights on, and why at 5 o'clock in the morning? I mean, so to put this that close, and if I'm not mistaken, because I looked at the address on that too, and the same gentleman that owns the property is owning.
Okay.
Is everything going on Colerain Avenue from Camp Washington? That's ridiculous. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, ma'am. I see no one else that has signed up to speak on this evening. Do I have anyone else that wanted to speak against or for this appeal? I see none. We have a motion to close the public portion.
I'll make the motion to close.
I'll second it.
Motion second made in discussion. I hear none. Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann. Yes. Mr. Roberto.
Yes. We'll start off with Ms. Smith. Do you have any questions for the applicant or anyone that spoke?
I do not, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Shup?
I have a question for staff.
Yep.
Gentleman was concerned about this expanding. Literally, how would that occur?
I think that the applicant will probably be better to speak to any potential long-term plans that he has or any kind of agreement he has.
I guess the question being posed is, since it's zoned residential behind the commercial space, is it even feasible without them coming before a board to change the zoning?
They would have to go to the zoning commission and have the property rezoned as AMC. And to do that, they would have to show their plan for the entire site, be it a retail building like the gentleman referenced, an access road, anything they plan on doing, they would have to show the zoning commission that plan to even have a shot at getting any residential property rezoned as commercial.
Did I capture the essence of what you're trying to?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
And that would be no different than any other retail establishment.
Yep, there's a lot of residential all down the side of Colerain Avenue behind the commercial. So if anybody wanted to do that hypothetically, they would have to go through that same process.
So it's not something they can just do. It is a process, just like what we're having here today, just for a variance change. It's a process for them to do a zoning change.
Correct.
More than, and then the public, would they be notified again that there's a
Oh, yeah,
change?
absolutely.
So you would have the opportunity to come and hear the applicant wanting to change the zoning to a commercial space, and then you can be for or against it at that time as well.
Not to mention, just to add, if I could add one thing, if they were to do that and take the cul-de-sac away, I don't know how this would look, but there would have to be either all the residents that are remaining on Ripple Grove would have to show up and have a conversation with a developer on, like, do they have any kind of access point? Do they have a sidewalk where they can walk their dogs up to whatever comes where the mall's going to be? Or is there a new cul-de-sac? Like, how does that all look? It's not something where that person would just decide and not have any resident input. Okay, so it would be something that would kind of be a back and forth if it were to happen.
I mean, it is convenient and it is suspicious that the same owner owns all those properties that are adjacent, but it would still be a process for them to go and make that change to where it would be a commercial space.
Correct.
Mr. Shup, do you have any more? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Mr. Thiemann?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Bartle?
Yes, for the applicant.
You can come on back up.
So the building to the north where the nails and vape shop are, is that owned by you or your other companies?
No, it's not. It's owned by the owner of the property. We're just leasing this.
Oh, you're
particular
leasing,
space.
okay.
Yeah.
Were you at yesterday's trustee meeting?
I was not.
Okay. Because I thought, in what I watched on YouTube, there was mention of that building being torn down. But that wouldn't be, since you're just leasing, that has nothing to do with,
I know the owner owns all those properties. His
Yeah.
long-term goal is to eventually rezone them and do some sort of master plan there, but I don't think there's anything in the
Okay.
works.
all right, yeah, I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. Yeah. But then, like staff was saying, you're going to be doing something to the exterior of the existing building, but not adding on to the
No,
building.
just more of a facade upgrade
Yeah.
to comply with the zoning.
Sure, okay. All right, that's all, thanks.
You can stay there. The part of Colerain Avenue leading up to that, they have pole lights that are outside of on the sidewalks. Are you amenable to adding that as part of your landscape plan?
I'd like to look at that. I may have seen some of those. I'm not too familiar what they look like, though.
Maybe a street view of front of McDonald's, maybe?
Is that a building owner expense or a leasee expense?
Property owner,
Property owner?
because they're going to be doing renovations along that green space anyway.
Yeah.
That's the time to take advantage of it.
So this would be just north at Northgate, in front of Northgate Mall.
And it stops just shy of that property that you're referencing, that you're looking to move into. And I'd like to see that continue down Colerain Avenue as a streetscape. And anytime there's an opportunity, I'm going to take advantage of it from a zoning perspective.
Are those electric or gas-powered?
Those are electric. So you would tie into your sign, that would be the monument sign.
What's the cadence, I guess, the distance between these particular lights? And what would be the expectation? I don't know what the frontage of this lot is. My only,
Probably would end up having maybe 3 at the most on that space.
my only hesitation, I don't want to speak for the owner, but if you pull up that aerial, this particular property is essentially a property away from the mall entrance. So there's that vape shop building with the nail salon.
Right?
I can't speak for him and bind him to the obligation of putting lights across that property. I can talk to our group and him about potentially putting them along this property, but would the township's expectations be across the entire frontage of both those properties, essentially from the mall entrance, or
The
just?
only variance that's in references is your
Got it.
space. So it would get captured in the essence of your space.
And how many would be realistically expected?
I'm thinking you're probably going to have the most 3 in that space.
That's definitely not something we budgeted for, but I don't know how expensive they are.
Well, you're going to be doing the landscaping along that whole face anyway, so that's where you're going to be running electric to your monument sign. It's the cost of the actual pole signs that you're referencing.
I personally wouldn't have any opposition to it. I'd like to talk it over with the property owner, though, because I know we had to talk to him quite a bit on the monument sign. He wasn't very excited about that, but at the end of the day, we're carrying the cost on that. I guess he has his opinions on signs here in Colerain.
Yeah, we've already met with him on the previous property, and he's having to take that sign down.
And then we had to say, hey, we'll cover the cost on it, so I don't want to obligate anything on his property without consulting with him first. Is that something I get back to you guys on, or is that? a decision?
We would end up putting it into as part of the zoning variance.
Got it, okay. I don't have any issues with it, and my guess is if it happened, he'd probably look at me and say, you got to flip the bill on it, so I guess it's us doing business.
So you heard a couple of your neighbors' concerns about, traffic and the kind of clientele you're going to have hanging around the property. How would you address that in conversation?
Well, from a traffic perspective, I don't think, do I expect more traffic than the CheckSmart? Probably. Do I expect traffic to be detrimental to the existing flows? I think what attracted us to this property is there was access to that adjacent lot, and that does cut across. I know at certain times of the hour, I was there last week at 6, 7 o'clock. It is tricky. I think one of the long-term objectives of the township and the property owners to have an access drive along the rear of these properties at some point, but to the previous conversation with zoning, that's a whole zoning thing. I don't think that happens today, tomorrow, or even next year. But I don't think the traffic is going to be anything different than Colerain's already have. I don't think we particularly changed the whole trajectory of traffic in that part of Colerain. In terms of safety and clientele, I would actually argue that the clientele is more elevated than probably what that vape shop gets. Our average cart size is $67. People coming in there and spending it to buy products. It's a very diverse demographic that we see. Nobody over the age of 21 can enter. We age gate and check people's ID to make sure they are 21 and above. And if we were ever caught to have anybody under the age of 21, it's a $100,000 fine by the Department of Cannabis Control, and they've got access to our cameras 24/7. So it's something we would never risk to make a couple dollars.
What about promoting any sort of vagrancy or hanging around loitering?
No, we would have a
How would you
guard
address
there on during all hours. Depending on the location, they'll either be inside or immediately outside. But yeah, that's not good for business anywhere. We don't want that. The state encourages us not to have that because if there's someone just loitering around, that's pretty suspicious. So in our current store in Camp Washington, we have a guard outside during all hours of operation. If we have someone loitering around, that guard approaches them and asks what's going on, and that's the end of that.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions for the applicant or anyone that spoke. Do we have a motion? With public portion still open, sir, so we haven't closed it?
The public portion?
Yeah, we're
Oh,
still.
yeah, we're still open.
If you want to come back to the podium, I'll allow it.
I have a concern about this agreement that was entered into yesterday with the township trustees.
Did close it.
Okay, can you put it in the form of the question that you have, which is,
Yes, why was it not conceived or agreed till yesterday, and why was this agreement not available in the zoning package or the information about the zoning?
I don't know what you're referencing to as far as the agreement. What we're here to, what we're here to,
agreement.
what we're here to discuss today is the conditional agreement to allow the property there based upon what is allowed in the zoning ordinance and some of the things that are on the property that are not allowed, or the sign that's present and the facade and some of the other things that they have to meet. That's what the variance is about, and that's the only thing really we can discuss.
Sorry, Mr. Roberto, we actually did close the public portion,
Did we?
so I don't want us to violate any further.
No, I apologize. I thought we still had it open.
No
So,
problem. Just letting you
I
know.
was just
but I can't.
concerned
But I can
about
do it this way. Here's how I'm
$60,000.
going to work around this, because we're allowed to ask questions at this point. So the applicant came forward and posed a question, and you're concerned about the
There's
property.
some type of conditional agreement with the township trustees.
And we are not aware of that or privy to what any of the agreements that were made. The only thing that we are aware of is what we've been presented in our packet. And so therefore, that's what we're making our decisions on today upon.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. And thank you for clarifying that, and
No problem.
I will just readdress it as a question to him. All right. Anyone ready to make a motion? Excuse me.
Before we do, I didn't know if the applicant, do we want to consider tabling to get clarification on the street lamps? I mean, I don't know if they're applicable to coming back,
Sir, can you come back up, please?
since that's not really part of his cost. So I mean, if we were to
I'm
table,
willing to take the lights. You can throw them in.
oh, so you're okay, no?
Yeah, might as well. Because I think if you just keep delaying it, we've been at this process now for about 6 months. As you guys know, we originally had the former Big Bob's, and there's a alleged church that popped up across the street there that, started really rejecting our usage, even though we sent someone there 13 times to see if they ever held a service, but they never did. So we just decided better to find another location. So we're good with the lights.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. All right.
All
Go
right.
back to making a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance, including the 5 conditional or conditions presented by staff, with the addition of a 6th condition being the addition of street lamps,
To
maximum of 3.
To match
that
the
meet
corridor.
The Colerain Township standards for decorative street lamps.
Can we say 3? Because maximum of 3 includes 0.
But I don't know how far there's, I don't know, does the township have spacing requirements?
No, these were done. I don't know if
Might be
Public Works or
Duke or Public Works might have to decide that.
Yeah.
Can we say minimum of 2 and maximum of 3?
Yeah,
you can say that.
That's,
yeah, minimum of 2 and a maximum of 3.
thank you.
And they need to be aesthetically similar to what's already there,
And
right?
match the
Well,
current
they
corridor.
need to match the Colerain Township standards, correct?
Okay, got it.
Okay, so a motion has been made to accept the variances as written with the staff recommendations, in addition to a 6 stipulation of adding a street pole sign/lights along the corridor with a maximum of 3, minimum of 2. Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
Second's been made. Any discussion? I hear none. Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. We look for good things, sir. Don't let us down. All right, next on the docket would be case number BZA 25-36. The applicant is requesting to replace their sign with an electronic monument sign located at a single-unit residential zoning district at the property located at 8735 Cheviot Road. Does the staff have a presentation?
I do.
Thank you.
BZA 25-36 is 8735 Cheviot Road. This is a variance request, and the parcel number is listed on the screen and in the packet. The zoning district is SUR Single Unit Residential, and the applicant is Becky Ross. The
I was looking forward to Betsy, so.
Betsy Ross.
Yeah.
Becky Ross. The property owner is Resounding Joy Church. Okay, so this is a long-established institutional use church located in the single-unit residential zoning district. A lot of churches are located in the residential zoning districts in Colerain Township and outside of Colerain. The existing monument sign is deteriorated and no longer represents a newly merged congregation's identity. The applicant seeks to replace this existing sign with a new monument sign, including an electronically changeable copy. The requested setback is approximately 10 feet from the Cheviot Road right-of-way, but the side setbacks seem to be unverified. I would ask the applicant about those. The context includes the area context includes a mixed-use corridor with institutional and commercial uses like a high school, the YMCA, a landscape business, and a nearby church across the street. The compatibility of the electronic sign should be a key consideration within the residential zoning district. Visibility and identification needs for institutional uses like churches and how they're set back from the roadway, and the potential aesthetic and light impact on adjoining residential property should be another consideration. If you look to the screen, you'll see the star represents where this church is located. Across the street, there are some residential condos, and this is directly adjacent to Colerain High School. Farbach Warner is also across the street. And here's a closer zoomed up map. The star shows where the current sign is and where the new sign will be. As you can see, it's down a panhandle driveway, so the church is not particularly visible from the road. In fact, if they did not have a sign in this case, you may not even know that they were there. So this is the current sign that's been there for decades. It does have a changeable board, and it's just deteriorating to where it's not really very functional anymore. The sign that's being proposed is shown on the screen. Much more updated. It has the stone base that we require. It has less than 5 additional words in addition to the name, and it has the address. Now, it is showing a picture on the screen. The applicant has been informed that you're only allowed to have words, letters on a solid black or white background, no movement, and no more than 4 changes per minute. So they have agreed to that. So the arrow shows where the current sign is as you're driving down Cheviot Road toward White Oak. just so you can get an idea of the intensity of the sign upon the site. The zoning issue is that single identification monument signs are not permitted in residential zoning districts. And in zoning districts where single identification monument signs are permitted, the requirement setback is 10 feet. Oh, yes. So I'm not sure what the setback is to this neighboring property. So an additional clarification or variance might be required if it's less than 10 feet. This does show that the Panhandle is owned by Hamilton County, I should mention, but we have a letter from Hamilton County giving them permission to put it there or acknowledging that the Panhandle in fact belongs to them. So that issue is a non-issue. The staff findings are listed on the board. These are based on the Duncan factors. This is how we analyze a variance request in Ohio. I've listed all 7 on the screen and in the packet, and I'll read the 3 most important ones in this case. It's staff's opinion the request is substantial in nature. Anytime we have any kind of light-up signage in a residential neighborhood, we do have to consider that to be substantial. But it's staff's opinion that the character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered and the adjoining properties would not suffer a substantial detriment as a result of granting the variance. This is along a very busy road, so it should be expected there's some kind of signage. And it's staff's opinion that the spirit and intent behind the zoning resolution would be observed and substantial justice would be done by granting the requested variance. So for that reason, the staff recommendation is conditional approval. The conditions being: Number 1, the new monument sign shall be installed in the same general location as the existing sign within the Cheviot Road access frontage area. Any material relocation beyond routine construction alignment requires staff review for consistency in setback and site visibility. The electronic changeable copy display shall comply with our zoning resolution, and the requirements are listed there that I referenced a moment ago. A minimum of 10-foot landscape radius shall be installed around the base of the monument sign. If the sign's located closer than 10 feet to an adjacent property line, they have to landscape to that property line. And the total height and sign face area shall not exceed the dimensions submitted with the application. Any increase in size or height beyond what's represented on the plans requires additional review and approval. Mr. Roberto?
Thank you. Just some clarification, because I've just never heard this phrase, but what is 2,000 nits? What's a nits?
It's just how you measure light and brightness, and we have a machine that would show us
Okay.
how bright something is.
Thank you. That's the first time I've seen that. Thank you.
Yep.
Is the applicant present? I'm going to give you.
Williams, Cap Signs, 7464 Webster Street, Dayton, Ohio. I am here in place of the applicant Becky Ross. I'm the salesman for the project. I concur with everything staff has said. Really couldn't have said it any better, and appreciate the staff report. It's great. To answer the question on the setback, it's right at 10 feet. It's right at 10 feet, 15 feet from the curb line, 10 feet from the sidewalk. So we meet that requirement. Church is spending a lot of money on upgrading that sign and would ask for your approval. So I don't want to really go into all the things that staff's already said. Would open it up for questions if you have any.
We will maybe at later.
Okay.
Thank you. I see Lori McDonough has signed up. You want to go ahead and give a name and address for the record, please?
My name is Lori McDonough. My address is 3860 Brockton Drive, 45251.
Thank you.
I am the clerk of session of Resounding Joy Church, and which puts me in a sort of a business leadership position within the church. And we have recently merged 3 small Presbyterian churches, 3 struggling small Presbyterian churches into this new church. And as a result, we have a new identity, a new name, and hence the reason for a new sign. It's really to identify who we are to the community, and also, as mentioned, to identify that we are even there, because our church is kind of tucked away behind some residences. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Perfect. We may come back to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I see no one else has signed up to speak for or against this appeal. Am I mistaken? I see none. Can we close the public portion?
I'll make a motion to close the public portion.
Motion's been made. Any discussion? I need a second. No, I need a second first.
I'll second.
Okay, second's been made. Do we have any discussion? See none? Roll call vote?
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Thiemann, do you have any questions for the applicant or anyone that spoke?
I have nothing, thank you, though.
Mr. Bartle?
One quick one, and I don't know if staff can answer this,
I'll try it.
but on the image on the screen, is just one half of that going to be not scrolling messages, and the other half is static?
Yeah, so where it says Resounding Joy Church is static, it's a changeable sign face. The rest of it is a TV screen.
What's the dimensions on that?
I don't have it on the,
I've got one here. Never mind.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
there'll never be messages, I don't want to use the word flashing, but there won't
Oh, yeah.
be.
competing with each other?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that correct, right? Where it says Resounding Joy is sign face. Yeah, so no, it's just one message at a time.
Okay,
And I did put on there, it can only change 4 times a minute.
right. Okay, thanks. That's all.
And Mr. Smith, Ms. Smith,
No question.
Mr. Shep?
None.
I don't have any questions. I will say this, doing a white background, there's a church just up around the corner that's got a white background, and it is so glaring going down Cheviot Road.
I told
So,
her to turn it down.
so reinforcing this, it's very important. I mean, I don't have cataracts yet, but I feel like I would be affected negatively with that sign, so got to keep that in mind, that it's going to cause people to wreck if it's too bright.
The sign that we proposed has automatic dimming as it's darker at night.
Just so that the audience and the public here, that the sign will automatically have dimming features built into it. Perfect. All right, I have no questions, and we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it with the staff recommendations 1 through 4.
Okay, motion's been made. And second?
I'll second.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Hear none, roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. And thank you very much. We're looking forward to the new sign. Next case is BZA 35-37, and just so the audience is aware, this is going to be a little unusual because there's 5 or 6 things within this case.
Mr.
Yes.
Bartolt, may I beg for a motion for a quick break before we take this?
I'll allow, why don't we we'll give you a break till 7 o'clock? Can we take a motion to take a break? Got a motion, do we have a second to take a break?
I'll second.
Okay, second's been made, roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
All right, we'll take a break till 7 o'clock. Okay, it is 7 o'clock. We will resume our meeting. Okay, as I was explaining, this particular case has multiple variance changes within the case itself. There's actually 6 signs that are represented in this case. Am I correct? I mean, look,
There's 5 signs, there are 6 signs at 5 sites.
6 signs at 5 sites that are in this particular case. And so we will address each of one of those kind of individually, because some of the signs require certain things and some of the signs don't. So we want to make sure that we're clear when we document this, because this is a quasi judicial. It gets recorded, and if there's ever any time that needs to go to court, we need to make sure we have as much as our I's dotted and T's crossed. So with that, BZA 25-37, applicant is requesting a variance to the sign height requirements for signage located at 5 Cincinnati Great Parks location. This would include Farback Warner Nature Preserve located at 3455 Pool Road, Triple Creek, 2700 Buell Road, Oak Glen Nature Preserve located at 7600 Thompson Road, Newberry Wildlife Sanctuary located at 5300 Sheets Road, and Richard Forest Preserve located at 4000 West Kemper Road. Before staff gives a presentation, one of the board members had to make an announcement to the effect of whether or not she would be biased to this case.
Yes, I just wanted to make it known, Mr. Chairman, that I did receive a letter of the public hearing notification on this case because I do live near the Richardson Forest Preserve. And I do feel that I could sit in and listen and make an unbiased opinion and judgment, but I wanted to let everyone know so that if anyone felt otherwise, I would recuse myself from that particular case.
So with that, the applicant is present. Does anyone in the audience have an opposition for this board member sitting on the board? If so, please stand and raise your right hand or something that let me know that you have a problem with her serving on board. I note none, so we will move forward with this board member on the board. So does the staff have a presentation?
I do.
Thank you.
So the property owners, Hamilton County Board of Parks Commissioners. The applicant is a firm called Stratus. Stephanie Ryman is the representative for that. So this request involves signage variances for 5 park properties, which are listed by Mr. Roberto. This is part of a system-wide signage update to unify branding and improve visibility across the Great Parks network. The proposed signs exceed the maximum height and/or face limit areas, which is kind of why we're here today. The administrative reapproval was not possible for this applicant due to updated dimensional standards when our zoning resolution changed. Staff permitted a consolidated variance request allowing the BZA to review all 5 parks collectively while retaining the option to decide each individually. And that means you don't have to approve everything. All signs have been fabricated already, though, and delivered based on prior approvals. What happened is the Hamilton County Parks applied for zoning certificates, were approved, and then our zoning resolution changed, and then all their certificates expired. They hadn't started construction yet, which is why we're here, but they already built the signs. So a little bit of a pickle. So the key considerations in this case are balancing regulatory consistency with practical visibility needs for a large park property, recognizing prior approvals and public investment in prefabricated signage, supporting uniform branding and wayfinding for a quasi-public regional park system, and a variance request. This is a variance request. We're not disputing whether or not the prior approvals are still valid. I noticed in their letter that they gave some reasons why construction had started. I don't believe construction had started. We're not really disputing that. We are asking for a variance request. So on the screen, I've listed all the parks, the addresses, the primary parcel numbers. They may be across multiple parcels, I don't know. And the zoning districts for each park. You can see that 3 of them are in our green space, open space recreation zoning district, and 2 are in our rural estate residential. These are our lightest intensity zoning districts, for the record. So we are now going to go through each sign individually, okay? And then we have a 6th sign we'll talk about at the end. So on the right side of each sign, you can see the name of the park. So this is the one at Farbach Warner. It's probably the most intense one, but it's also in the busiest area. So this is a green space area, but it's along Colerain Avenue. The irony there being it's green space because of Farbach Warner. So this is 177 square feet and 30 feet tall, significantly taller than anything we would allow for non-quasi-public signage. But this, I will point out that this does have earth tones to it. It will blend into the surrounding, and it will replace a sign that right now is not very effective, as you can see on the left-hand side. And then the right is what that would be replaced with. So they do have people in each screen, so you can kind of scale how tall each sign is. So this would be right on the corner there of Colerain and Pool. The second sign is Triple Creek. This is another one that's on the large side. We're looking at 170 square feet and 17 feet tall. Not quite as tall. And you can see the person for scale. This again would replace a very outdated sign. And for the record, these signs are consistent with all signs that are being installed or are to be installed at all great parks across Cincinnati. So they all have a consistent theme. The bigger signs on the bottom, they'll have this stone wrapped to them, and I'll let the applicant speak a little bit more about how that process works and which signs qualify for that. So it'll really have a lot of those natural looking tones to it. The third sign is a less intense Oak Glen Nature Preserve. This is 16 feet tall, but quite skinny, as you can see, scaling the person jogging by in this rendering. And it would be a sign that is not currently there. It's not so much a sign in the way that Farbach Warner and Triple Creek are, as it is, I think they called it a place marker. They had, what's that? Boundary marker. So this is a little bit different of a category than the other signage. And that goes for Newberry as well. So very similar sign. This one's 45 square feet. The one at Oak Glen is exactly the same size. So they look to be pretty identical. And this would actually replace a current sign that has more of that, you know, kind of outdated 80s, 90s look with something that blends in a little bit better. And then finally we have Richardson. This is the one a lot of people ended up with letters for. It is on, it would be on the corner of Richardson, 4000 West Kemper Road. It's 20 feet tall and 108 square feet. So not quite as big as Farbach Warner, but it would also have that stone wrap kind of at the bottom. And this is what it will look like once the sign is installed. There will be landscaping there, by the way. So those are the 5 signs. I have a 6th one I'm going to mention in a moment. But it's staff's opinion, the reason that we need these variances include 4.8.3B1 and B4 in table 4.8.3D and 4.8.4A. And we'll go through kind of what these mean. These are our regulations for single identification monument signs. One could argue that these are gateway signs. I think this fits a little bit better. They're typically allowed 1 on a corner lot like Farbach Warner. You're allowed 2. 50 square feet to 75 if you're on the corner lot, 5 feet tall. So obviously we're not really meeting these. These are kind of exceptional signs. When I wrote these regulations and we adopted them last October, it wasn't with the park signs in mind. It was with the business signs in mind. These kind of fall outside of the scope of what these regulations are written for. So staff findings, the Duncan factors I talked about earlier are on the screen. Number 2, it's staff's opinion the request is substantial in nature. A 30-foot tall sign is substantial. It's staff's opinion that the essential character would not be altered. These do kind of have that earth tone to them, and they are for parks, which have a huge public benefit. And sometimes people may not be able to find these parks if it wasn't for the signage. And it's staff's opinion the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed, and justice would be done by granting the requested variance, simply because, as I stated, the signage regulations were not really written with these parks in mind. So staff recommendation is conditional approval, and the conditions there are 4 of them. Number 1, a continuous landscape bed with a minimum radius of 10 feet shall be installed and maintained around the base of the monument sign at Farbach Warner. Planting shall consist of live vegetation and shall be maintained in good condition for the life of the sign. Also at Farbach Warner, we made a condition that the base should be wrapped in stone or visually similar material. And the applicant has informed me that that is going to occur for Farbach Warner, but also Triple Creek and Richardson. So that's great news. Number 3, a continuous landscape bed with a minimum radius of 10 feet. Just like condition 1, but also at Richardson. And number 4, for any proposed sign location that lies within or approaches a public right-of-way maintained by Hamilton County, the applicant shall obtain written approval from Hamilton County prior to the start of installation, and a copy shall be provided to our office. There may be a chance Richardson is at or near the Hamilton County on right-of-way. And I have the variances listed on the screen, so this will be where we'll kind of go through them. But I did add one at the end I want to point out now. There is a sign that matches the old signage currently at Farbach Warner when you turn into the driveway across from that new Joseph access drive. If we did not open the door there for them to replace that sign with something visually consistent with their new signs, they would have to come back. So I made a condition that you can consider a variance shall be granted to allow for a second single identification monument sign at the main drive of Farbach Warner that largely meets our zoning resolution. So we're not talking 30 feet, we're talking 5 feet or something kind of similar with some discretion given to the zoning administrator if there's minor changes that need to be made. So the variances are listed on the screen. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Yeah, just for clarification, so the last variance that's been added is because it would be a second sign on the property?
Yeah, we noticed late after the packet was released, and I'm recommending we add something to address that sign when you turn into Farbach Warner,
Right,
so
so-
that we don't end up having them have to
But
come back.
I'm asking, is the variance because it's a second sign on the property? What's the variance for?
Well, 2 signs are allowed that are up to a certain amount of square feet when you're on a corner lot. So it could be read one way that it's allowed anyway, but the variance is to just, make it crystal clear that they can replace that sign as well.
Okay. But with more in kind when liking to the current, since it's not been made, it's something that can be closer to the standards.
Yeah, it would have to largely meet our zoning resolution. If it was off by half a foot or something, then there's a little catch-all in there.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Is the applicant present? Want to come up and give us your presentation, or name and address for the record, please?
So my name is Sean Creighton with Great Parks of Hamilton County. The address is 10245 Winton Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45231.
Thank you.
So first I want to thank the staff for providing background on what our proposal is. Very much agree with most of what Mr. Peters presented. So this project, as staff mentioned, is a signage project across the county. The intent is to provide new signage that meets our new brand standards. Great Parks recently branded a couple of years ago. So you notice on some of the existing signs, our old logos on there. Main reason for the project is to update all of our signage to current brand standards. We also want to provide signage that's going to allow guests to easily find their way to our parks and make sure that folks are aware of our presence in the community. We have approximately 30 signs going in across the county. We're working in 13 different jurisdictions across the county for approvals on these signs. Many of them are already installed, and most of them are fabricated at this point, including the 5 that are here in Colerain Township. Our request is that the signs that we proposed be allowed to be installed as they were proposed in the application. As Mr. Peters mentioned, they're already fabricated, and we have them in hand and are ready to install them if we were given that approval. Specifically, some of the conditions that were mentioned, I want to address those. So there was a mention of landscaping for the signs. I do want to note that in our application package, there is landscaping at 3 of those signs already that's included in the package. That includes Triple Creek. There is an existing landscape bed at Farbach Warner. In Richardson, that there isn't a landscape package, but we're in agreement that we can provide it there. Let's see. Also, we are in conversation with Hamilton County for a revocable agreement at the 2 locations. That includes Triple Creek and Richardson, where the signs are proposed inside the county right-of-way. So, any questions, I'm happy to answer.
We may come back to that. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so I have several on this list that have signed up. We got, it's a PL Rabot. You want to speak this evening, ma'am? You just come up and give your name and address for the record. If you've got a question or a comment.
I'm Patty Graybo. I live at 3920 West Kemper, Cincinnati, 45251.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that the one that's going to be installed at Richardson seems very big. It's not, there wasn't a sign there before, and I fact more graphic that there really isn't back there. It's a preserve. They have some hiking trails, but not many people. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So I see it's a Dick Simple. Can you come and speak for the record and give us a name and address for the record, please?
My name's Dick Semple. I'm at 4447 Wood Trail Lane. I'm also owner of GSD Systems. We're a sign contracting and consulting firm. I've been in the business for 40 years.
You've been in here before. We've met you, I believe.
I have. And I have a concern about how in the world did they approve the height of these signs without due prudence. I have to go through a lot of hoops to break the rules that are set up in a community like Springfield Township or down in Florida and Clearwater. And I don't understand how you allow a 30-foot sign, because on Colerain Avenue in particular, all the new businesses have complied with the 15-foot limit. We're talking Kia, we're talking Valvoline, we're talking Wawa. All those businesses comply with that rule. So I don't understand how this one slipped under the doors, so to speak. And it really upsets me because it's going to set a precedent down the road for future applicants. They'll want to go to make a 30-foot high sign, which we were trying to get away from, like Big Boy and some other businesses on Colerain Avenue. We're trying to get the perspective. When you're driving in a car, you don't need to look up 30 feet to see where a park is. You can see it at 10 foot or 15 foot. It doesn't make any sense. And for the money, and why they went and made them all without having everything cut and dry is beyond me. But that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
If you have any questions to me, I'll be glad to answer them.
We may come back to that. Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's see. Is it Dina Cross?
Dina Cross, 7617 Thompson Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45247. So I feel like they've already got it made. They're already going to install them, whether we're here or not. But on Thompson, the Glen Oaks, there's no parking at all. And you let one sign in. So I don't know why we need a sign anyway, because there's no parking. There's nowhere for them to park. It's a preserve. It says that on their website. You let them have, they're going to put a sign there, and then we'll be back again because they want to put a 30-foot sign with lights next time. It's just opening it up to more problems.
Thank you, ma'am. I skipped Cindy Sickman. Yes, ma'am.
Cindy Sickman, 3988 West Kemper. And my concern was, and they did answer my question, I was concerned about it staying a preserve. The families that live around there, part of it is my grandfather's farm that the park board got years ago, and I just wanted to make sure it was going to stay that way. I didn't want people, my parents back up to the property, a lot of the families back up to the park. Majority of the people don't even know that's there. So that was my main concern, and I understand it's going to stay a preserve, a nature preserve, which is great. We take great pride in that out there. And that was it. I have no complaints about a sign. It is what it is. Taxpayers paid money for that property. It should be there. And that was all.
Thank you, ma'am. See Jeff Schmidt. Okay. And I see no one else has signed up to speak for or against. We have a motion to close the public portion.
I'll make the motion.
A motion's been made. Do we have a second? Second. Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt.
Yes.
Mr. Shep.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann.
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Ms. Smith, do you have any questions for the applicant or anyone that spoke?
I do not for the applicant or those that spoke, but I do for staff, if that's okay.
That's fine. Thank you.
So the variance, if granted, is this limited to park signs?
Oh, yes.
Township, and wouldn't be for just any signage that anyone else, businesses would want to do?
It's absolutely the specific signage that was shown in the package. If the parks wanted to install another sign, that would be a no. If Big Boy, I think was mentioned, wanted to install a sign that's the similar height, it's different conditions, There's no such thing as setting a precedent that anyone on this board that I've noticed takes seriously, and I certainly don't. So this is only for the signs you laid eyes on in the packet.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
Mr. Shep?
Just getting back to the second sign you mentioned,
Triple Creek?
no, at Furbach Warner,
Okay.
to an attempt to keep them from having to come back. That was on the drive somewhere. I've never seen it.
Yes.
No, it was not. It's something that I added today. In fact,
But is there there's existing sign there presently, isn't there?
oh, on the driveway.
Yeah, that's the question.
Computer drive. Okay. Yes, there is a sign there right now.
Any other questions?
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
Mr. Steeman?
I have a question for staff. I have a question for staff as well. So just so I'm clear, it was essentially a year ago, these same signs were before the board. Is that accurate?
I want to explain just to give some context. These applicants applied over a year ago for signage under the old zoning resolution. They were approved because we viewed them as a government entity that was exempt from zoning. The tradition here that I had known was to make parks, government, this building, the township, the schools, were all exempt from zoning. That's probably not a correct way to do that. So when we wrote the new zoning resolution, we started reviewing the parks, the schools differently, saying government is the township, the fire department, the PD, emergency services. The parks, though, should comply with our zoning requirements. Whether or not that's true, I think the applicant has told me that some communities view it the way we used to, and some communities view it the way we do now. So it is a gray area. But to answer the question, the reason they didn't come to the board a year ago is because we view them as exempt, but we don't anymore. So that's why they're here now.
But we're also here because the approvals expired.
Yes, before construction had began.
Okay.
Okay, and you can say construction is we had them built, but I review construction as
Placed in the ground.
we started putting the post in the ground and we put concrete down, and that didn't happen.
So to be clear, these signs, 5 or 6, were not in front of the board a year ago.
No, they've never been. They were exempt. We didn't even charge them. We just said you're good to go because you're the government.
Okay.
But we changed the way we review that October 10th, 2024. So that's why we followed this process instead.
Very good, thank you.
I think there was some confusion in the audience on that. Does that make sense? Yeah, probably shouldn't, because we closed the public portion.
Don't address the public.
Carry on.
We'll come back to it, and I'll call you up, so don't worry.
No, that was very helpful, though, thank you.
Mr. Bartle?
Well, I guess for the applicant, just in curiosity, if you want to come up, the reasoning for a 30-foot sign, and if you have others like that throughout the county.
So actually, the one that's proposed for Farbach Warner is one of a kind at that size. We do have other signs that are, so we have boundary markers, which are generally tall and narrow, and their intent is primarily to bring recognition of the brand and the facility that exists in that area. We have park entrance signs, which are like Triple Creek. Okay, so that's identifying the entrance to the park. Winton Woods sign on Winton Road is probably square footage wise, probably bigger than Farbach Warner's, but not as tall. The reasoning for the size of that sign there is because of the context on Colerain Ave. If you could pull up the picture of the rendering, it's in context. So it's not any taller than the light pole next to it. Folks are looking up at the lights, and there are many large signs in other buildings along that corridor there. There's a wooded area behind it in order to get recognition to that sign, for folks to be able to see it, we felt that it needed to be larger than other signs in our package. Most of them are in that sort of context on a commercial corridor like Colerain.
I don't know if I missed it or not, but these aren't lit signs, right?
That one, not internally lit. The
No.
only one that we are requesting lighting on is this one here at Farbach Warner. There is lighting on the existing sign, and it would simply be uplighting that spotlights the sign itself. It is not internally lit. Farbach Warner, Triple Creek, and Richardson all have solid limestone block bases. The portion with the logo on it is natural wood material, and the reddish brown is meant to represent Corten steel, a weathered steel. So they're all natural materials that we feel are attractive and fit into the setting of the background that they're in. So although it's large, we feel like it sits well in the surroundings.
All right, thanks. That's all.
All right. Question for staff. If this was not a government entity and they would come before the Board of Zoning, would this size sign been an acceptable sign?
Absolutely not. I would never, ever recommend approval on a sign that's 30 feet tall again, no matter if it's government or not. So I do believe it's too tall. It's already fabricated. And if this were a business that were not a government entity, this would be a very different story. You have my word on that.
Okay. So, sir, if you come up to the podium, I'm going to give you some liberty on it. You're going to answer my question however you want to answer it. If you were to fabricate this sign, what height would you make this sign?
If anything, 20 would be a lot too, but 30 feet is outrageous because the point of view is, he just mentioned existing signs on Colerain Avenue. Well, all those signs are grandfathered. Big Boy, I believe Star One, Bob Evans, they're all grandfathered. So you can't do anything about them at their height unless you sell, the business gets sold like the Czech place. Now the cannabis place has to put a monument sign in that can't exceed 15 feet. This is an example of oversight by the company that promotes or fabricates all these signs, or the zoning and so forth. They should have taken that into consideration. And I know from a fabrication standpoint, you could cut this sign down. You could make it at 15 feet, and it would bring the graphics down more in your sight line as you drive down the street, not up at the light, because most people don't look up at the lights. They look straight ahead, maybe 15 feet off the ground. That's why Kia, Valvoline, and I'm sure that the Mitsubishi outfit is going to have a short one too. So why should we be violating what we've already set up as standards? That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. So now I have a question for the applicant. You know, as you've heard someone that is actually in the industry make a statement that this sign actually could be shortened, you know, what is the possibility of this sign coming down to a less than, 30 feet height?
I mean, I'm sure it could be done. There'd obviously be a cost to it. I can't say what that is at the moment. All I can say is that at the moment, this is what it was designed to. We received a previous approval and fabricated it based on that approval. Could it physically be cut down? I'm sure it could.
Okay. I have no further questions. All right, so I would like to address these signs by location. So Farbach Warner Preserve, want to make a motion for this particular property. That would include the addition of the second sign. Do you want to do that as together, or do you want to do that separately?
However,
Why don't we do them separately?
Okay, great.
So, do we have a motion to approve or deny the 30-foot tall sign at Farbach Warner located at 3455 Pool Road?
I'll make the motion to approve it since it was previously approved.
Okay, motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
No. That one has been approved. Let's add the additional sign. The additional sign will be in close specifications with the current zoning.
Correct.
So do we have a motion to approve an additional sign on this parcel that is going to meet or come close to the current zoning specification?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the additional sign at Farbach Warner as long as it meets current Colerain Township standards.
Okay, so motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. We'll move on to Triple Creek Park, which has a 17-foot tall sign. There is no landscaping requirements for this property. Nothing special, just it's approving, it's a border boundary marker. Do we have a motion to approve the sign located at Triple Creek Park's 2700 Buell Road?
A motion to approve.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. That leaves us, actually, Triple Creek Park had a landscaping on it, so that was already included in their packet, so it wasn't a boundary. I apologize. Oak Glen Nature Preserve, that's the one that was a boundary sign.
Yeah.
That one is 16 feet tall, located at 7600 Thompson Road. We have a motion to approve or deny.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, got a motion made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Newberry Wildlife Sanctuary, located at 5300 Sheets Road, Sheets Road. It's 16 feet tall. Do we have a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. That leaves us with Richards Forest Preserve, which has a 20-foot tall sign. This one requires landscaping bed located at 4000 West Kemper Road. Do we have a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion's been made.
I'll second.
Second's been made. Discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shep,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes.
Can I add something?
You may.
Since we had those 4 conditions, can we make sure those 4 conditions get attached to each of the motions? Because, as we know, the variances stay with the property.
Correct.
And we don't want a landscape area to go away someday magically overnight. But, we want to go on record as saying they should have.
Well,
Those conditions.
so just to be clear, Farback Warner should have continuous landscaping. It's going to be wrapped in stone, as well as Tripper Creek, as well as Richard Forest Preserve is going to be landscaped. I don't know about the wrapping in stone. I don't think that was.
Well, I'm just saying the 4 conditions.
So I think
Wow.
you could make a motion onto Hamilton County Great Parks to, that they're required to meet these 4 conditions across all their parks and tie it to this case number.
Right.
Across their parks in Colerain Township.
Meet the conditions that would apply to the relevant park, I guess.
Okay. Well, the motions have all been made and we've already voted. I
just don't know.
We're talking about addending them. They were voted on with the conditions, or they should have been voted with the conditions met that staff recommended.
So you think
That's
we're
how I
good?
understood it.
Okay.
Is that how you understand it?
Yes, I
Come back to the podium, just so you're on record.
As I understood it, the conditions for landscaping applied to Farbach, Warner, Triple
Richardson.
Creek, and Richardson.
Correct.
Oak Glen and Newberry Wildlife Sanctuary are in wooded areas.
Correct.
It would
Correct.
be extremely challenging.
So only 3 spaces were actually met those conditions that need to be. Now, I wasn't sure about the stone wrap on Richard Forest Preserve. Is that being done there?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so the condition is going to meet the 3 parks that actually are not preserves, public parks.
One of them is a preserve, Richardson. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, the sign type is what's dictating the base of the sign. So
And the-
Richardson,
So we have a
Triple
condition number 3.
Farbach, Warner have solid limestone bases. The ones at Oak Glen and Newberry are just concrete.
And so you're okay with those conditions that were met?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so I have no problem moving forward with.
And he said it on camera, so I don't think he wants to, with working for the county, you wouldn't make yourself a liar on camera, so I think.
Absolutely not. You're not a politician, so you're a public employee, but not a politician. But thank you. That moves us on to the next unfinished business. I see none.
None.
We need to approve the minutes. We can approve the minutes for the October 22nd meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second's been made. Discussion?
Can I remind everybody that you should not be voting on minutes that you were not present for? We've noticed it a lot in our
Okay.
review. Sorry to interrupt.
No. So if you were not present at the meeting.
Correct.
Then, so did you second the motion then, Mark?
I did.
Okay, so let's need someone else to second the motion.
I'll second it.
Second's been made. At least 3 of us that can vote on it. So we take a roll call vote for the 3.
Or we can just say abstain?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Abstain?
Ms. Smith,
Abstain.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Our next meeting is December the 10th. Do we have case?
No, we do not. Our next meeting will be January 28th.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made and discussed. The second?
I'll second.
Second made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Bartolt,
Yes.
Mr. Shup,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Thiemann,
Yes.
Mr. Roberto.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.